to some extent. Now we will talk about the linear measurements. The first measurement is the SN value, the distance between the S and N value. This is the length of the cranial base, X value. This value is known as X value. It is the length of the cranial base. And this value is known as X. It can be anything. It can be 10, like in this diagram, it is almost 70 mm. In any case, it can be 80 or 65, anything. So this value, cranial base length value, is known as X value. And the mandibular corpus length value, the second one is mandibular corpus length value, which should be equal to X plus 7. The value of the cranial base plus 7 is equal to mandibular corpus length value. What is mandibular corpus length value? It is from the constructed gonion to constructed gnathion. This value, okay, this value here to here, this value is known as mandibular corpus length, and it should be 7 mm greater than that of the X value, which is the cranial base length value. And here in this case, it is almost 85 mm. Okay, if in this case it is 85 mm. So what this value tells us? This value tells us either the mandible is large as compared to the cranial base, or it is small and it is underdeveloped as compared to the cranial base. In this case, since this value was 70 mm, ideally it should be in between 77 mm, but it is 85 mm, so it is greater than 77 mm. So this is telling us that the mandible is larger as compared to that of the cranial base. So it has a more chances that the mandible will be protrusive, because the mandible is larger in length as compared to the base of the skull, which is X, cranial base length. So this will tell about the length of the mandible. It is enlarged or is it small. So this is the mandibular corpus length. The third linear value which we are going to discuss is the width value. Width value is basically, what is it, and we will tell you it shortly. Here we will set a square. This is a set square, and we will place it on the functional occlusal plane. This is the right angle of the set square, and we will place it on the functional occlusal plane, and we will meet it with the A point. This is the A point, and then we will meet it with the A point. We will draw it the perpendicular line here on the functional occlusal plane. So this is the OA point, and similarly this is the right angle. We have to place one side on the functional occlusal plane and the other one meeting with the B point. Here it is, and we will draw it here. So this is the 2 points, AO and BO point. So these are the AO and BO point, and we have to measure the distance in between them. AO point should be if AO is ahead of BO, okay, if AO point is ahead of BO, then this value will be positive. Okay, if this BO point is ahead of AO, as in this case BO point is ahead of AO point, then in this case the value will be negative. If BO point is ahead of AO, then this value will be negative. In males, AO is 1 mm behind BO point. So width value will be minus 1 mm in males, and in females AO point is at same level as BO point. They are coinciding with each other. They are on at the same point, both AO and BO. So width value will be width value will be 0 mm in females, and in males it will be minus 1 mm. This is the ideal values. So if it is not clear in the diagram, in the Ceph, I will draw it separately for you, much larger. So this is the functional occlusal plane, and this is the A point, and this one here is the B point. So we will what we will draw, we will place this right angle. This is the right angle of the set square. We will place it on the functional occlusal plane, and we will coincide it with the A point. And here we draw it perpendicularly on the functional occlusal plane. This marks the AO point. Similarly, the B point, we will again place the right angle on the functional occlusal plane, and then we will draw it here. This is the BO point. So AO, BO, and we have to measure the distance in between them. Okay. In the cases of male, the BO point is 1 mm ahead of AO point, and in females the BO point and AO point almost coincide with each other. So this is the width value. I hope I will make it clear to you. So this is the width value, and these are all the sagittal analysis: 4 angular values and 3 linear measurements. The first one is S and A, second one is S and B, and third one is A and B. The fourth one is facial angle. Let me explain the facial angle, which is basically SN POG. It does not tell us either it is a skeletal class 3 or skeletal class 2. It actually tells us how the chin is projecting outwards from the cranial base. It actually tell us about the position of the chin. So in the low angle cases in which the mandible is more forward rotated, the chin is mostly more projecting, and thus a facial angle will be greater than its normal value. In case of high angle cases in which the mandible is more backward rotated, so the chin value, so the SN POG angle will be much lesser. So this angle will become acute, more lesser in value. So this will tell us about the projection of the chin. So this is called the facial angle value. I hope I have made some concepts of it clear. Thank you so much. And now on the next video we will talk about the vertical analysis.